Good morning and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kalvig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. Again, thanks for listening. I have Kyle Thomas on with us today, a certified financial planner on the Haven investment team. Kim, here to talk about a whole bunch of retirement stuff, inflation, maybe a little, what was your experience on the 4th of July? All good stuff this week, right?
Yes, absolutely. I can tell you something about the 4th of July. I had way too many hot dogs and hamburgers.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, it was. I think I'm all set. I've had my fill for the summer. So that's the good news. I sort of got it out of my system, but I certainly took advantage of beautiful weather and lots of family around. And it sounds like you guys did the same.
We did. It was hot, but I like hot. And we had all the girls home and a whole bunch of other college kids. And let's just say it's nice to have my house back.
There's something to be said for peace and quiet, isn't there?
As I get older, I'm finding that I do like a little bit more peace and quiet.
I have to tell you very quickly, when my kids all left, my daughter called and she said, "Mom, the house must seem so quiet." And I kind of sat there for a minute and thought, do I tell her the truth or do I say, "Oh, it's miserably quiet, hon"? So,
and for our listeners, by the way, Kyle has younger kids, so he doesn't get a lot of quiet.
Right. No, and not a lot of sleep either. So,
well, these days will come, and you'll laugh just like we do about these experiences. We promise. Well, you guys, let's talk a little bit today about long-term impact of inflation that we have seen over the past few years, how that impacts your finances, and certainly how that impacts those who are either planning and getting close to retirement or in retirement. So as we begin to discuss this issue, let's take a look at some of the topics. For example, the impact of inflation on prices from these past couple of years. And then we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve and, what you guys think they're doing and how that relates to inflation. We'll talk about inflation fighting strategies that you can consider. And then we're going to talk about avoiding key mistakes when adjusting for inflation. So, Larry, you've said this many times, but inflation is something, we all think these last few years have been absolutely horrible, and they have been tough, but it's cyclical. We see inflation pretty many times in the course of our lives.
Yeah, we as humans, we just tend to forget the last time we had it and the time before that. It's always been around, but not to diminish the fact it has been really bad in recent years. And for new retirees, that can pose some serious problems when it comes to their income. And inflation has slowed down a lot, but the prices, they tend to continue to persist. I was at the grocery store with the holiday, and prices are still expensive. Mm-hmm. So they have not come down. Yes, eggs have significantly, but many other staple items are still extremely expensive. And again, how it relates to our retirees, well, it affects their money.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly does. Well, let's talk about, Kyle, and join us in this conversation. Let's talk a little bit about some of the effects of inflation. You just mentioned it, prices at the grocery store. I think that's where all of us really started to see it in the initial stages shortly, after the COVID hit in 2020. We started to really see those prices go up, and it doesn't look like they've come down all that much. Kyle, what do you anticipate when it comes to that kind of thing?
I don't really anticipate prices to really come down, because that would end up being deflation, which isn't really something that we see. We don't really see prices come down. And also deflation can also be kind of bad too. I mean, that's what led to the Great Depression, almost 100 years ago now. So we don't necessarily want deflation, but it would be easier on our pocketbooks to have prices go down. But hopefully we've had measures that can help people to counteract those increasing prices, like social security, cost of living adjustments, that type of thing can help. But, there also is problems with that, because that adjustment comes a year later after that inflation had already happened. Mm-hmm. So that's where we kind of, come into some potential problems there, and what we would need to plan for and adjust for, and just make sure that we can sustainably fund our retirement or whatever kind of stage of life we're in.
Well, it seems to me that individuals who are in retirement and maybe are on a fixed income, this is a strain that they had not anticipated, or maybe they have, but it's a strain that's lasting for a long period of time.
Yeah, there's certainly prolonged effects here when it comes to income. Many people, a high percentage of retirees that are out there that we work with are on a fixed income, which might be Social Security. They may be fortunate to have a pension. It's fixed income every single month. And then as inflation comes, that we don't have as many dollars at the end of the month to to maintain our long-term savings plan. We might need to revisit the budget. You probably should have revisited the budget quite a few months ago, if not the last 2 years.
Right.
And one that I've just had a detailed conversation with Glenn and Isabella at our office. They help a lot of folks. We're able to help a lot of folks when it comes to healthcare, Medicare, all that healthcare discussion. They said they've seen some projections for the upcoming year with 15 to 23% increases in healthcare, 15 to 23% increases on the horizon for 25, 26. That does look like it potentially is going to happen. And that is a big amount. And that's where a lot of retirees underestimate healthcare. We budgeted into our plans. We always have. And that's where a lot of people miss it. And you want to make sure you're using some accurate numbers, because you might be very much surprised when you retire and find out that $1,000 to $1,500 a month, maybe each, might be needed on a monthly basis.
Sure.
Very big number.
Well, it seems like to me, if in fact that's the case, first off, these retirees who are on these fixed incomes have already been dealing with, as we mentioned, these higher prices at the grocery store. Fortunately, at the pump, things seem to be consistent, but they're consistently high, certainly. We did talk about Social Security COLA adjustments, but now we learned about healthcare possibly going up. So it may be time to not just reevaluate your budget, but reevaluate maybe your investments.
Absolutely. It's always a good time to be doing that. And I urge everyone to do that at least once per year. And that's something that we do with our clients here. And everyone should have a plan that adjusts for the changes on an annual basis. In 2022, our inflation was at 9%. So all of our meetings were kind of centered around that aspect, because 9% is a big number, especially in 1 year. You really feel it. And every year it seems like there's something new that's happening. This year it's been kind of tariffs and potential rate cuts, and then now the big beautiful bill. So that's a huge impact on everything that we do with our planning, because taxes are involved, inflation's involved, because purchasing power loss. So you need to make sure that you have a plan that can adjust for all these different aspects. And ours does a Monte Carlo where we can adjust inflation. What if it's at 3% for the rest of our retirement? Mm-hmm. And then, what kind of tax laws do we want to project out there too? Because in another 4 years, we could have a completely different administration that is increasing taxes rather than, what we just cut them. So it's important to make sure that you have a plan that can look at all of that while also looking at your investment allocation to make sure that investment allocation and risk profile is set up for success to achieve the goals in your plan.
So, Larry, for those who are listening right now and they are on a fixed income and maybe they're not working with you at Haven Financial Group, but they're very nervous and they're not getting the kind of feedback that they think they need to prepare for the next couple of years, what would you suggest?
Well, it's why it's important we say it every week, to have a retirement financial plan now. Now is of the essence to put it together and to make adjustments. And yes, it's possible to reduce your expenses and strategize on how to help you cover some of these costs. And that's why I encourage the listeners to give us a call today. Come on in and visit with us, 612-504-8400. There is no cost. There's nothing to lose. It's a conversation over a good cup of coffee and a cookie. And you know what? We try to have as much fun with these topics as possible So come on in. We'd love to visit with you.
Absolutely. That number again is 612-504-8400. Give them a call at Haven Financial Group. We're going to take a break. And on the other side, let's talk about the Federal Reserve when it comes to inflation and what our two experts here anticipate they may see, or we may all see, in the next few months. This is the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.